everyone. Today I was originally planning on making a mines vid, but honestly I am so fed up with this issue and it really needs to be fixed. Now what you're seeing on the screen is something a lot of you can test yourself and something probably a lot of you have seen, which is a classic case of desync. A carrier comes in, drops his bombs, you see the bombs splash in the water, you think you dodged, and then a couple of seconds later, well look at this, he comes in, he lines up the drop, he drops the bombs, they splash in the water, you think you're safe, a couple of seconds later, whoops, you accidentally ate a triple citadel, even though it looked like you were dodging. Now this, ever since this started happening a lot with the carriers, it's also started happening a lot in the game. In fact, I know a lot of you have been complaining about the ghost shells going missing, the feeling that, well, it looks like your shells are hitting, but you're actually not hitting. You're not dealing any damage. In fact, I've been seeing it a lot lately, and I've been really starting to look into it in detail in the replay analysis and slowing down my own Twitch clips. And the desync is so much worse than I actually thought. In fact, pretty much all my clips in this vid are taken from my gameplay today. Did you guys see that? Did you see what just happened? Let's look at it again. In full slow motion, look at that bottom shell. Go straight towards the citadel. Disappears through his ship. The second shell hits what looks like to be his superstructure, and somehow I get a bounce. So what exactly is going on here? Why did my shell basically disappear through his ship? And, well, we can look at it again, and you can once again pay attention to the left shell. You see how it's actually going to hit the superstructure, but somehow it ends up being a bounce. Well, it's actually not hitting the superstructure. It's probably hitting one of those back turrets. In fact, what's happening is that what we see in the game is not what's happening. You saw that shell went straight through his superstructure? We're gonna slow it down a lot and look at the furthest right shell of the ones that are in the air. The one furthest to the right. Where that shell hits is where this Leon's superstructure actually is. You saw that? And now that's a fairly slow moving battleship that just made a full turn, and I'm only 13.7 km away spamming him, and even then the desync is so heavy that what we're seeing on the screen is not where the ship actually is on the server. The further away the ship is, the faster he's moving, the more extreme it gets. In this case, I line up a volley on the Amalfi. You know what I just hit there? I hit his superstructure. In fact, if we go close once again and we slow it down, you can see that, well, it should have gone through thin air, but that Amalfi is basically half a ship length further up ahead than what we're seeing. Now, this isn't unique to EU. This is happening on Russia as well. In this case, I shoot a nose in Venezia with my Shikishima, and if you follow that bottom shell right at the bottom going straight towards his nose, you see that, well, it enters his nose, and the water splash is literally in the center of his ship. That should have been a nose in Citadel, but he's not actually where we think he is. And this has gotten really, really bad as of late. And it's happening both on the EU server and on the Russian server. I've been seeing it a lot. I assume it's also happening on NA and C. And it's gotten to the point that it's completely ridiculous. These clips, all of this is just from my gameplay today alone. And before someone says, oh, but it looks different on the replay, it doesn't. You can literally go and watch my Twitch. The reason why I'm even catching all these things is my viewers are seeing it on my stream and they're taking clips and they're linking them to me, and then I look at them in slow motion and I say, wow, that shell just disappeared into that ship. Let's go look at it in replay later. And that's what I'm doing here. And the reason for this vid is whenever anything like this is, whenever I bring something like this up, people always like to pretend like I'm making it up. Like I'm pulling it out of my ass, it doesn't actually happen, it's RNG, it's blah blah blah. No, the state of the desync on the live servers right now is terrible. And keep in mind, my internet connection is fantastic. I have constant 35 millisecond ping. I have like 350 meg internet, Finnish, great internet, no issues. I mean, I stream flawlessly with it. It's most certainly not on my end, and a lot of people have been seeing it, and people have been sending me replays. The funny thing is, the desync is so bad that now what's been happening is that if you shoot ahead of the ship, it looks like, look at that back shell that's coming in, it looks like it's gonna hit the water or the thin air, but that actually hit the ship, even though it was supposed to miss. And it was a full pen, not even an overpen, so it actually hit his, I assume, deck armor. So that ship is so much further ahead than what we're actually seeing. This desync issue has basically forced me to change the way I play the game right now, because it's so bad. Now, until Wargaming acknowledges that this is very much an issue and something that very much needs to be fixed, there is a bit of a way you can adapt to this, and the solution is kind of just as simple as it sounds. Shoot ahead of the ships. Pretend that the ships are about half a ship length ahead of where they actually are. So what this is on the Russian server, by the way. So yeah, both EU and Russia examples here. I think they are hosted on the same server cluster. That's why I can't with confidence say that this is occurring on NA and C as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was, because this has started happening, I guess, a couple patches ago. So we take half a ship length more of a lead than we normally would. And keep an eye on these shells now, and you'll see just how ridiculous it looks like when you devastate fast ships at long range with this new patch. Did you see that? That was nowhere near his citadel. In fact, slowing it down once again, looking at where our shells land, yep, they're landing in front of his ship. They're basically the very peak of his nose. That's where I'm landing. And I'm devastating him with citadels. Because, well, as soon as he dies, what happens when he dies is the server moves him to the location he should actually be at. You see how he's warping forward? Yeah, that's the server updating his real-time position, where he actually was, not what we were seeing, but where he actually was. And you see how he basically slips half a ship length forward. Completely ridiculous, and absolutely a bug that should have been hotfixed a while ago. Ever since, honestly, the bombs started dropping through ships and then randomly scoring hits, that's when the warning flag should have gone up. As always, thank you for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you guys later.